Hi guys and welcome to another video on the channel. Today it's My Team Career Mode Season 2 Round 12 for the Qatar GP. If you did miss the previous one around Monza, be sure to check this one out. It was a good race with an unfortunate ending, so definitely check that out. And now let's jump into this episode. So first, as usual, we're gonna do some upgrades. Some front downforce upgrade and some weight reduction. I thought about doing weight reduction, but I didn't have enough R&D points, and at this point I don't really have enough R&D points to do anything besides durability, but there we can do only one upgrade at a time. And now the game wants me to choose a rival, but Paris and Verstappen, both in the Red Bull, there's just no point in trying that because they are way faster than us. We wouldn't even have a chance to get anywhere near them. So yeah, this is, I think it's bugged a little bit, because why would the game give me a rival or two rivals to choose from if I don't even have any chances at defeating them? And as you could see there, Lewis Hamilton decided to retire at the end of the season, so that's definitely interesting. And now again I can choose between Verstappen and Perez as a rival, which again is just stupid. I have no chance defeating them, so I don't know why I have to choose between those two instead of giving me someone I can actually defeat. And now with 9 million in the bank, I decided to do a facility upgrade on the chassis side. And I decided to upgrade the pit equipment to have faster pit stops in the next races. And there, the weather forecast, I mean, we are in the desert, so I didn't really expect anything else than a dry track. And we lost out in the performance chart. We are now again P9. We were, I think, P5 or 6 before. So yeah, we lost out a little bit, but it's everything really close. And with P7 in the Constructors' Championship at the moment, it's looking quite good. The last race is not as good as we wanted them, since the P5 in Barcelona, no good races. So that's a bit unfortunate. But maybe we can change that today at the Qatar GP. And now we go into qualifying. And hopefully we can get a good lap. And I like this track really for qualifying. Racing is not as good as qualifying around here. It's just a really flowing circuit, and when you race, it takes the flow away a little bit because of the other cars and the overtaking. But it's still fun to race, but not as fun as qualifying around here. And now we have only the triple flat out right hander to go and the almost flat out left, and then in the triple right hander we invalidate the lap, so that's not good. And then on the second lap I actually finished the first lap to have a delta, and then on the second lap we gain 2/10 through the first two corners alone. And at the exit of turn 2 we gain even more. And then through the double right hander we invalidate the second lap again. And then we went to box at the end of the lap. But I damaged the floor on the outlap. So now with 5.5 minutes to go, we need to hope the repair time doesn't take too long. And we're gonna see how long it's gonna take when we're in the garage. And I hope it's less than 2 minutes. Because otherwise I don't think we can get a lap in. And it's actually 3 minutes repair time. So now we definitely have a problem. Because it's gonna be finished with like 1:47 to go. So now we've fast forwarded the time and it's 1:47 to go. So we need a really quick outlap. And we need the mechanics to move faster. And we have another disadvantage. The pit lane is really long at the end. So if the pit lane just ended right behind our garage, it probably would have been relatively easy to get out and get a lap in. But now we have to push on the outlap, and I don't know if it will be enough. I really don't know. And we're just gonna follow the Alfa Romeo as quick as possible and hopefully get a lap in. So we have 38 seconds left now, and we have 1.5 sectors to go. We have more than half of the lap to go, and I don't think it will be enough to get a lap in. We have now 20 seconds left for the triple right hander, the left hander and the final right hander. With 10 seconds to go through the left hander, there's no chance. No chance we can get a lap in. We have now around the last corner, and we're out of time. So that means we didn't set a lap in Q1 because we invalidated 2 laps and didn't get a third lap in. So we're gonna start the sprint from P22, which is definitely not helping. But maybe we can score some points. Or at least get a good finishing position in the sprint to then get some points in the full race on Sunday. But we will see if we can get anything done in the sprint.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and starting next to them is George Russell. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Leclerc, Verstappen, Perez, Norris, Sainz, Albon, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Gasly, Ocon, Fittipaldi, Bottas, Joe, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Sargent, Helga, De Vries, and the owner-driver rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. Anthony Davidson, a very warm welcome to you as you join me in the commentary box for today's event. They've been involved in a number of costly incidents lately. That's got to affect their mindset going into the...
So I decided to go on the medium tire for the sprint, because if I would have done a one-stopper like last season in a 50% sprint, there's just not enough time to catch that up. And now we got a good start, and we go around the outside of some cars in turn 1, but we get damage because I think it was De Vries who hit us. So once again at the start, our underfloor is damaged, and now we have to do the complete sprint race with damage. So yeah, that's a bit unfortunate, but the damage wasn't too bad, so it should be okay. And then, yeah, as you can see, it was not okay. I lost the car under braking into the last corner, probably because of the damage. And now with a broken front wing, I went wide again. So I had to stop, and that was pretty much the sprint race. We finished last, just ahead of 2 cars that retired. So yeah, not a good sprint race, not a good position for tomorrow's race, but we will see what we can do, and hopefully we can move forward.
We're under the lights once again here in Qatar. Last year we took a year off due to a small footballing tournament that was being hosted, but it's all excitement on the track now. We're back here in Lusail for a track that's 3.34 miles long. There are 16 turns around its unique 3-pronged shape and just a single DRS zone out of turn 16. It's fast and it's flowing, and there's a good overtaking opportunity with DRS down the long straight and into turn 1. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Albon, Sainz, Stroll, Gasly, Ocon, Bottas, Fittipaldi, Helga, Sargent, Tsunoda, De Vries, Magnussen, and the owner-driver rounds off the grid. Joe and Lando Norris starts from the back of the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. And I'm joined once again by Anthony Davidson to bring you the lowdown for today's race. Why don't we kick off by discussing Max Verstappen? That was a great win in the last race, but can they keep that momentum going into this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
So now we go to the grid for the full race.
Okay, here we go. I know
and
what you can do. Don't let me down.
It's medium to hard. like pretty much always, and I got the same strategy for both options, so yeah, it doesn't really matter which one I take, because it's just the same. I mean, there's not really much else we could do because it's really high tire wear around here. Maybe a 2-stop, but we would lose too much time doing that. So yeah, medium to hard, pretty much the only option we can do. And now on the start, we almost lost the car into turn 2, but fortunately I could save it. But we lost the position to Joe, so now we have to try and regain some places and hopefully move forward. And in turn 1 of lap 2, Norris attacks us, but into turn 2 we can get ahead. And now we're side by side into turn 4 and 5. We keep it around the outside, but then into turn 5, Norris is just a little bit quicker. And now we lost the position again. But then onto lap 3, we go down the inside of Norris into turn 1 and we gain back the position. But we're still in P20 and we need many more places, because we want a good result here, and P20 is not a good result. So we go down the inside of Joe, and now we're in P19, and next up is Tsunoda, and we're gonna try to overtake him. So we stay really close through the middle sector, and I think this train of cars is led by my teammate actually. Those 5 cars ahead of us. So that DRS train could make it a little bit harder to overtake. But we almost pushed Tsunoda through the last corner. And now the DRS isn't enabled yet. Or is no, it is it is enabled. But then in the braking zone, I tried to brake just a little bit later than Tsunoda, but I went too deep on the brakes and completely took my front wing off. And now we have a red flag. For some reason, I don't know if there was an actual reason, but it definitely saved our race so far. And now we go on the hard tire, and we won't have to do another stop if we don't break our front wing again. So now we get a good start from P22. We're already up to P19 into turn 1. And Bottas DNF'd on the restart. I think it was an engine failure. Just on the restart. So we gained 2 places and 1 place from Bottas DNF. And now into turn 6 we go down the inside of the freeze. And I really like this move because the AI are so slow into that corner, especially when they're all bunched up at the start or a safety car restart. And now into lap 11 we get Tsunoda as well. And now next up is Sargent. And we're side by side into turn 1 and we're ahead. And now next up is actually my teammate. And he locks up and we make the same move we did on the freeze into turn 6. And now we're in P15. And maybe we can make a move on Piastri as well. Maybe even in the braking zone on Fittipaldi. And yeah, we tried to go down the inside of Fittipaldi. He moved to the inside, we touched and I spun. And then a few laps later I spun again, but this time by myself. And the tires were really done. And I had a big gap to the freeze ahead. So I decided to box and try to go for the fastest lap. And on my first flying lap I did a 24.6, which was enough for the fastest lap. So not a good finishing position, but at least we got the fastest lap. At least something out of this race.
If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners.
So in the end it's P21 with the fastest lap. I mean, yeah, our fastest lap was, I think, 5/10 quicker than the second fastest lap. But unfortunately we don't get a point for that because we were outside the top 10. And after being 5th in Spain, our performance really fell off a cliff. We didn't get any points after that. And that's 8 races. That was 8 races before this one. And I think we didn't even get near any points after that. So that's really bad for us. But maybe Spain is just a good circuit for me, I don't know. But we definitely need to improve our car, because we have no chance of any points if everything goes normal. So see you guys next time. Goodbye.